Hello, beautifuls. It's Preem. I am here today with a few gems. Um, First of all, I want to touch on the divinity in being a black woman. Um, I think that black women who are transiting out of Blackistan and transiting out of black culture and transiting out of the black community who don't want to no longer want to be associated with that is confusing. Not wanting to be black and being very anti-black and kind of some people are moving towards the line of self-hate, self-loathing, and anti-blackness. And I want black women to be careful with that. And the first way that you be careful with that is by separating yourselves. You cannot be, even in that you are being male identified, right? Because the things that you hate about blackness belongs to the males, right? Or the male identified women. And those are the things that you don't want to be associated with, and those are the things that you hate. But in denying who you are as a black woman, and I have heard women, especially young girls, young girls saying in divested spaces that they wish that they was not black because they don't want to be embarrassed by the black community. And I get what they're saying, but I know that it's leading to self-loathing. It's leading to self-hate, and I want black women to be careful about that, because there is nothing more divine, nothing more glorious in this realm that we are in right now, than black women. I've said it before and I will say it always. Black women are the physical manifestation of God here on earth. So you don't, so there is nothing more divine than black women. And I think that in a subconscious level, black women know that everywhere. Because I'm going to say, besides a small, no one, even in this existence that we are creating in the United States of America, even white men are ashamed to be white men. Black men are self-loathing. All the rest of the races want to be white. And all the rest of the women want to be black women, and we know that because they pay good money to be black women, right? So the only people that I can honestly say that are okay in their skin as a collective is black women. And it's because in our subconscious mind, we know the divinity that lives within us, right? And I don't want black women to forget that. I don't want black women to lose the dignity in being a black woman, and not wanting to be attached to the males, right? So I've heard women saying that they wish that they was not black. They're embarrassed to go out and be associated with mammies, because we look like them, right? We all not look alike, but a black woman, I wish that mammies were more identifiable, pick-me's was more identifiable, but you don't really know them until they open up their mouths, right? So, it used to be a time where mammies had a specific look, but no, now mammies, they look, they looking all in all different shapes and all different sizes and all different skin tones and all different, any black woman can be a mammy, but any black woman can be a sovereign woman as well. Okay, so once you open up your mouth, people in the world know who you are. They're identifying things that black women can do, like being honest about who you are and where you stand. For instance, if somebody says something about George Floyd to me, I make it clear to them he was a junkie, and I don't think that a junkie should be glorified, So people know where I stand as a black woman. I'll say something like that, and they in most cases, if I'm not talking to a black person, if I'm talking to a non-black person, they'll respect that because they know this the truth, right? But black women can, sovereign black women, and I'm not saying divested because YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter have dirtied that word up, right? They have dirtied up divested. So, divested, I'ma let that sit over there for a little while because divested simply means black women abandoning all things that don't serve her. All things that don't serve her. And it's conversations on YouTube about, can divested women date black men? Black men are black women's, you guys know how I feel. If you've been here a while, you know how I feel about black men and what they represent. So that is a very idiotic question. And it's going around it's going around the interwebs as a debate. I mean, look, if you don't understand the basics of who your abuser is, if you don't understand who your greatest harm is as a black woman, we not even gonna have this conversation on divestment. You know what I'm saying? If you can't admit and say it out of your mouth who your greatest harm is, if I have to pull it out of you, if I have to take you back to when you was 5 years old and you were first molested and you were first touched, who it was that did it, who your first abuser was, then, I don't want to have to do that to black women. So if black women are not willing to say who her abuser is off top, I ain't really got much else to say. And if you asking me, can you date, or do I think that women that date the face of my abuser as a black woman can divest? Please cut the bullshit, sis. I mean, really, cut the bullshit. So anyway, with that being said, I'm throwing divested over there. I'm gonna let them play with it, and let them figure it out. But back to what I was saying. Black women in this BWE space are starting to sound awfully self-hating, and I know where it comes from. So as we all know, I'm here on a more esoteric level. I want to talk about what's going on in the East and what's happening spiritually. With that, I have to admit a truth, and it's a truth that I have struggled to share because I don't want it to be misconstrued. And I'm sure that a lot of women who make this kind of content don't want to say this because you don't want this information taken and misconstrued, but I think that it's necessary. And I'm gonna tell you what happened in ancient times that turned the son of God into a demon. So what happened? So let me first tell you the fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is that black women are who we are, right? The physical manifestation of God is black women. Black women at her highest self is a black woman at her highest self is God. And that's that. And that means that what comes from her womb is divine, right? That means that what comes from her womb has the potential to be divine. Let me say that. What comes from her womb has the potential to be divine. Now when she started creating these males, some ancient women were creating males to serve women. The thought was that it's too much heavy lifting around here. I am a femme. I'm a feminine, person on earth. I'm a woman. And I don't want to do the heavy lifting. So I'm going to create something to come and do the heavy lifting for me. And that was why she created males. And then there was some who created them and And those women who created males to serve her were a very small number of males. Only 10% of those males that she created, so only 10% of those males that she created were going to actually live in their divinity. We're going to actually reach reach the standard of demi. And when I say demi, I mean demigod or demiurge, right? So only 10% of those males were going to reach the actual potential of being able to exist as, you know, a demigod, right? And the rest of the males that were created to cause harm to those women and those women. And with that being said, black women don't want to admit the fact that you are divine, because then you have to admit the fact that the males that came from your womb have the potential to be divine. Now, in my opinion, only 10% of black males have the potential to be divine, and that's based on the fact that only 10% of this God, I want to say this, yeah, this goddess is 10% masculine, 90% feminine, right? So only 10% of black males have the potential to even reach that level of being divine in that way. And 90% of black women have the potential to exist in that way. Okay? So that's that, right? So what happened in these ancient times, those 10% of black males, and you know that this happened because this happened in what were they, Scandinavians, what were they, Vikings, right? Viking males used to kill boys when they met puberty and they had a small penis. If you was a Viking boy and you met puberty and you had a small penis, you would be murdered. And the reason why they murdered you was because they said that it breeds envy and it breeds hate because you got a small penis. So they was killing, and shit, I believe it, but they was killing these little boys, right? And the mothers let them. The mothers knew that their sons were going to be useless, and they let them, right? Before that happened, these women that were creating sons, those alleged 10% of black males who were able to exist in their divinity, right? They decided, you know what, when you have these sons that's not going to be anything, we need to kill them off immediately, right? As soon as we realize that your son ain't shit, we need to kill them off. And black women in turn decided to say, no, you can't kill my son. You know, I can make him be better, or I can make him be good, or I can raise him to be better. And now we got a shitload of fucking piece of shit sons, because way back in the ancient times, those sons should have been killed off, but black women did not let you kill their sons. That happens today. I literally had a moment in my life where just now I had to check myself with my nephew. Now, y'all know I ain't got no sons. I don't give a fuck about no sons. and that's, you know, that's easy for me to say. But when my nephew was here, he was he's 12 years old. He was already showing signs of self-loathing. He was already showing signs of self-loathing, ungratefulness, nonchalant. He had already been emotionally turned off, and I'm not saying that some of that fault was not in his mother by allowing him to become emotionally turned off, but he was emotionally, like, switch had been shut, no emotions at 12 years old. So you can imagine when he turned 16 and he started dealing with girls, he's already shutting off his emotions right now. He's already 11 years old or 12 years old and don't have no emotions, right? Or won't show no emotions. He already angry as fuck, and he is already ungrateful, and he is already self-loathing. Well, in those ancient times, I'm sorry to say, it would have been one of those 10% of black men. And when we talking about 10% of black men, we talking about 10% of the black men on planet Earth. Okay? That's a very, very, very small number. A very small number. So in case you thought when I just now said that it was 10% of black men on earth that are able to reach their divinity, that you think you're going to get you a unicorn, you will not. 10% is too small of a number. Do not waste your time with it. Do not waste your time. Okay? I know that 10% gives you hope. That's why black women who deal in the esoterics and the esoterics, we don't want to tell you this. We don't want to share this information with you because you're going to really think that there's hope. No, you're not going to find a unicorn. 10% of the black male population can reach, and is the potential to reach their divinity. And if you think that they're going to be African American males, you are delusional. And if you think that you're going to go over into the diaspora and you're gonna find them, because I know that's the whole thing, like you start dating in a diaspora and you're gonna find them. Listen, sis, if it's a bucket of snakes, and look, who said it, Malcolm X or Muhammad Ali, they told you about them. They telling you about them all the time. If it's a bucket of snakes, some are poisonous, some are not. Do not stick your hand inside of a bucket of snakes trying to figure out which ones are poisonous. Do not do it. That is idiotic, and that is a suicide mission. Don't do it. Okay? So, anyway, back to what I'm saying. So, if my nephew was showing these signs in the ancient times, him being self-loathing and these traits that make you turn into a terrorist, these 10% of the look, see, they know they've been telling us, because W.E.B. Du Bois said that it was a talented tenth, right? Shit, they telling you who they are, right? So this talented tenth in ancient times would have told me as his aunt, he's no good. Let us do away with him. Let us do away with him. He's no good. He's going to grow up and he's going to be a terrorist. There is no saving him at this point. Right? And do you think that black women were able to say in these ancient times, okay? You can't tell a black woman today nothing about her son. You can't tell a black woman today nothing about her fucking son. Right? So when my nephew is in my house and he's fucking throwing his tantrum, being very ungrateful, I had to check myself. You know, he was throwing a tantrum, and I had to say, you know what, Preem? Let this little ingrate get the fuck out of your house. At 12 years old, I decided he's never coming back to my house. Ever. And that's easy for me to say as his aunt versus his mother. But he's never coming back to my house. I called my 8 brother and told him, you need to come and get your motherfucking son. You need to come and get your motherfucking son. Now, he's no longer invited here. Right? But what I'm saying, I'm bringing that, I'm saying that, and I'm bringing to black women attention, so that black women can understand, how did you go from this little small problem in your sons to this huge fucking problem that nobody can get a hold of? Well, now they outnumber the talented tenth, and I ain't seen this. Listen, I feel like in my spirit, okay? I feel like in my spirit, because spirit say so. You know what I'm saying? Because spirit say so, it gotta be so. But I ain't seen them. You know? You know what I'm saying? I ain't seen the niggas yet. I ain't seen there one of them. Okay? So, with that being said, just what happened in those ancient times happened today. You see something wrong with these little boys and you let it go on, and then it grows into a thing that it should have been nipped in a bud. Really, the ancient women really should have let them kill their sons. Let the talented tenth kill off your sons. They are no fucking good. They are no fucking good. This is what happens when it's somebody with a fucked up gene. When it's a being with a fucked up gene pool. Usually, the collective gets rid of it. The collective gets rid of this. Happens in the animal kingdom. You know, if it's a fucked up animal, albinos or something like that in the animal kingdom, they let them die. They leave them for dead. And I know that it sounds archaic, and I know that it sounds crazy, but this is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened. So that is the reason I said all this to say this is the reason why black women don't want to share with other black women the divinity in black women, because then you have to admit that there is some divinity in black men. And I just now admitted, I just now told you, it's somewhere on earth, 10% of black males are gonna be half decent. Okay? Somewhere on earth, 10% of black males are not only gonna be half decent, they're going to be divine. They're gonna be able to walk in their divinity. Right? And I think that sovereign women don't want to say that black women ourselves as a collective are divine. All of us have the potential to be divine. All but 10% of us. And I think that we don't want to say that, because then we have to admit that the thuns are as well. Or some sons have the potential to be that way as well. And what you end up doing is not walking in your divinity as a black woman, because you're too afraid to admit that there can be some divinity in black men. Okay? Maybe when you hear black women talk about these unicorns, my dad was a unicorn. He did this. He didn't cheat on my mother. He didn't dog my mother. He raised his children. Maybe those are the ones. Listen, I ain't met them. I mean, I'm telling you that spirit says that they exist, but I ain't met them, and I ain't looking for them. And I would advise no black woman to look for them. But what I will let you know is that is why black women do not want to admit to the divinity that's within themselves, especially those of us that know. Those of us that know. And I'm saying this message now because of all of the bashing of black women. I want black women to literally be able to stand on a square. I want black women to stand on a square. I want black women to know that you are divine. I mean, you are divine. I am. When people ask me, am I a black woman supremacist? Yes, the fuck I am. I am a black woman supremacist. I believe that black women are supreme, and that's as simple as that. I believe that black women are supreme, and I believe that everyone knows that black women are supreme. Some black women in our subconscious mind, we know, and some of us in our conscious mind. I know in my conscious mind. When I always have, I always looked at black women as the most beautiful women, the most caring women, the most loving women, that quote strongness that we have, or that strength that we had. All of that shit is divine. All of that shit molds into a beautifully shaped black woman. Okay? And I am okay with admitting, and I'm going to admit that, yes, 10% of black men are going to be able to, reach their God, self, I'll say. I honestly wish that I could give you an example of a black man that really lived in that kind of divinity, so that you could know it when you see it, but I can't. Okay? I can't. And if any black woman come on here and she want to argue that I'm a motherfucking lie about the 10%, the talented 10th, sis, I won't argue with you. Sis, I'm not gonna argue with you. That's one argument you ain't got coming. You don't have to worry about coming from praying. Look, I'm just telling you what Spirit told me. I ain't seen the niggas either. And I ain't looking for the niggas. And I advise all black women to not waste their time looking for them. But I do want black women to know the divinity within herself. I do want black women to walk around on earth. And no, black women don't have to, this is a private YouTube page where I'm hiding my face. I'm a face hider. I'm behind my computer. You guys have no idea how I look. You have no idea where I work at. You have no idea how I live my life. And I walk around on earth like I'm supreme. Do I yell it from rooftops? When I go inside of a room, do I say, ooh, you peasants? You peasants. When I walk inside, when I go to work and I'm surrounded by white people, do I say, oh, you peasants? No, I think it in my head, though. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't say it out of my mouth, but I know it. No, I'm not asking black women to go around and act, haughty and do the thing, the lie that the apes do. No, because they lying. They don't live in their divinity. They don't live in their divinity. They can't reach their divinity. They are so low vibrating that they cannot. Most of them will never. Most of them, the overwhelming majority, at least 90% of them, will never reach it. Will never reach it. Okay, but black women, on the other hand, we have the potential to live in it, because for the most part, black women are proud of being black and women. Black women are proud of how we look. Black women are proud of who we are on this earth. Black women usually strive in this quote unquote oppressive system. I think that a lot of the oppression that black women endure is because of their connection to black men. I think that black women alone do not have to feel that way. I think that black women alone, when surrounded by the rest of the world, that the rest of the world sees them as divine, unless you connected to the devil. Unless you holding the devil hand, your little fucking 8-year-old. Well, I don't know if y'all want to say your 8-year-olds are fucking wicked, but I'm gonna tell you what. Between the ages of 11 and 14, I ain't gonna say it no more. I'm gonna say it as often as I can. Between the ages of 11 to 14, your sweet little boys are turning into terrorists, and I'm watching it as we speak. As we speak, I'm watching it. Okay? So, I hope that this message is reaching you all in good spirits, and I hope that you all are doing well. In my life right now, my daughter's on her way to college, so I'm trying to spend as much time with her. I have a new blog that I'm going to try to get out. Maybe I ain't gonna make no commitments because, let me get my baby off to college. But my new blog is gonna be titled, and you can guess where it's going. Having a baby in Blackistan is a death sentence. So, be looking out for that. And I think I said everything I want to say. This was just a quick rant. I'm probably going to title this something about the divinity in black women. I just want black women to walk around on earth as they are, and as you are is divine. And this message came from, and I'm going to tell you where it came from. It came from, it's a video that Miss Archduchess made. I know that nobody says anybody's name on YouTube. You guys hate to say each other's name, and I don't give a fuck. Nobody gonna stop me from saying nobody's name. Especially if I'm saying their name in a good light. I won't come on here and I won't trash other YouTubers I won't come on here and I won't trash other YouTubers, especially other black women. I won't name them if I'm gonna trash them. But if I'm talking about black women and a black woman creator, YouTube creator who creates the same kind of content or close to the content that I create, I'm gonna name them, and I'm gonna tell you to go over there and watch the video. This video, I had been feeling this way for some time. I had begun to see the self-hate in black women, but Miss Archduchess made a video about Tila Tequila, and it was called, I was actually just now listening to it, but I started listening to it. Y'all know Miss Archduchess, you gotta turn her videos on, and you gotta go start your housework. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let her shit just play in the background, let the downloads come as they want, as you do your housework and shit. So I was doing some housework and I was listening to the rest of it, but it was entitled, "Why Would Ling Ling Call Black Women Bald-Headed and Cursed?" And it was about Tila Tequila. And for a minute, Miss Archduchess really went in real fast, though. I wish I could tell you the minute mark, but it was at the beginning when she does her commentary, because Miss Archduchess does her commentary and then she has callers calling in. But she got into that. She actually mentioned RBG, and she said a lot of talking points of being pro-black in that video. And I know that black divested women are moving away from that, but you still have to recognize the divinity in being black women, because that's why the whole world is gonna attack you. The whole world is going to attack you, not just because I know that black women want to exist as just women, but we don't get to. We don't get to the divinity is in the fact that we are black and woman. That's the divinity in being a black woman, is being black and woman. Okay? The rest of the women on earth don't hold a candle to black women. And Miss Archduchess, she touches on that in that video, and I just wanted to delve in a little bit further. If you want to go watch that video, it's Miss Archduchess. Yeah, she just touches on how black women are going to be are being attacked for everything, and it's you're not, black women are not just being will not just be targeted and be attacked because you're black women from the apes. The apes know who you are and they hate you for it, and the rest of the women, and I don't get, Miss Archduchess really started to sound quote unquote racist. I don't give a fuck about the apes, and I don't give a fuck about no woman that don't give a fuck about me. And most women on earth that are not black women don't give a fuck about black women. So I don't give a fuck about no fucking Asian woman, no fucking Chinese woman, no fucking Vietnamese woman. I don't give a fuck about no woman outside of black women either. So that we clear, I don't give a fuck about white males that don't give a fuck about black women. I don't give a fuck. I'm here for, I do black women work. That's what I do. I do black women's work. So anybody, for me, as Miss Archduchess, I'm behind the motherfucking screen. Y'all don't know who the fuck I am. I will rarely put out any of my information. It's gonna be impossible to dox me. So I say what the fuck I want to say. And as Miss Archduchess said, these fucking women are fucking hideous. And the true standard of beauty is black women. And we know that. And we know that based on the surgeries that they have. And, not only that, they are those fucking Chinese women are fucking oppressed like nobody business, and they fucking barbarians. And that's it. And I'm going to be the one to say it. And they fucking barbarians because they are unlike us. Right? They are unlike us. They don't possess the divinity that black women possess. And they know that. And they hate us for it. So when you're dealing with black men hate you because you are a woman. But the rest of the women on earth hate you because you are black. Okay? All right, black women, I need you to understand that you are not, I know when you are being oppressed by another patriarchy, you're being oppressed because of your connection to black men. Okay? When you're being oppressed by another patriarchy in this realm, your oppression is because of black men, because you attached to him. Okay? And non-black women understand the divinity in black women, and they hate you for it. So you don't get to decide as black women, oh, I just want to be a woman. You want to be I don't want to be a black woman anymore. I wish I was another race of woman. What? What? You taking off your crown to do what? You wish you were what? And another thing that I'm gonna touch on real fast is the fact that I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this again because I ain't got no sons. If black women get all the blame, then black women get all the glory, right? If black women are gonna get all the blame, if you're gonna say that we the worst thing, and we the worst thing, that ever happened to the black race, and so on and so forth, and we're also the best thing. We're also the best thing too. With all the blame comes all the glory as well. And I'm willing to say, when my nephew was here fucking wilding out and throwing shit around in my house, there was a moment of softness in me that felt like, oh, maybe if I actually went. Let's talk about this. So I actually went after he had his tantrum and threw shit all around in my apartment. I went, now mind you, he's only 11 years old, and he's a shrimp. I really wanted to slap the shit out of him. I really wanted to slap the shit out of him, but I didn't. I didn't. I calmed myself down. I let myself calm down as I would have my daughter. But when this happens with my daughter, she's usually receptive, right? So she has, if back in the day, my daughter, you guys know now she's big. She's 18 and she's on her way out, but out to college. But when she used to have, these a hissy fit, I'd let her calm down, and I'd come back and I'd admit where I was wrong, and I would want to move on from it, and she'd be receptive. So my nephew, he threw all the shit around. I went inside the room to do the same thing. I calmed down and I went inside the room before I hauled off and slapped the fire out his ass. I calmed down and I just, came and sat down in my room for a little while. Then I went to go talk to him. And when I tell you, he was so fucking ungrateful. When I tell y'all he was so fucking ungrateful, he was so fucking nasty and so fucking mean to me. Not even that. Then he was entitled. He was entitled, self-loathing, mean, nasty, and ungrateful all at the same fucking time. And that moment in me that wanted to, kind of, wrap him up in my bosom and make him, and try to make him soft, fleed. Cause I don't have no sons. I don't have that in me. So really, if I was an ancient woman and a male would have saw that behavior, he would have said his ass need to go. He needs to go because he's going to be a problem in the future. I mean, what the ancient women should have done at that time was should have let their sons be fucking, look, I don't know what they was doing with him. What I do know is the Scandinavians and the Norse people, the Scandinavians and the Norse people and the Vikings, they were killing 13-year-olds. Your ass met puberty and you didn't measure up. You was a dead little boy. And I'm sure that is what should have happened over here. And I'm sure that's what should have happened over here. And I'm sure that it was black women who decided, no, you cannot harm my baby. Okay? And with that, what I said, when you have to take the glory as a black woman and you have to, stand in your divinity as a black woman and exist as a divine being, you also have to take the blame. Especially if you are a mother and you see that fucking black dot on your fucking boy and you don't do something about it immediately. I don't know what y'all can do about it. I don't know what y'all can do about it, but what I did about it, and it wasn't my son, I told him to get the fuck out of my house and his ass will never be back here. And I didn't tell him nasty. I didn't say get the fuck out of my house. I called his father and told his father, come get your fucking son. Come get your fucking son. Because you ain't shit. My father wasn't shit. The grandfather probably wasn't shit. And guess what? Your son ain't shit. And guess what? Your son ain't shit. Your son not shit. Ain't gonna be shit, just like you ain't shit, just like our father wasn't shit, and just like his father wasn't shit. It's just a bad bloodline. It should have been ended. It should have been ended in ancient times when that 10% saw that my bloodline, the bloodline that I come from, are black males, wasn't shit. That shit should have been ended back then, but it wasn't. So now here we are here, and now you got a little fucked up 12-year-old boy, and y'all have a problem. Y'all have a problem, but not me though. Not me. Y'all about to have a problem, but not me. But anyway, that's my spill. I just really, come on here every now and again to shoot my shit, to talk my shit and then leave. Yeah, I'll be back with some more structured content later. You guys stay safe and I love you, and yeah, I'm gone.